How big can I get my heart to be?
Thought Media Network proudly presents
How much love can I get flowing out of me?
The Real Talk Sisters. Deep, unfiltered, soulful conversations with Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, Reverend Kim Andrews, and Reverend Melinda Wood Allen.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Join us for Real Talk on Real Issues. Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. And now, let's join the Real Talk Sisters.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Hello there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk Sisters. We are so glad to be here.
We are. Good to see you, Pjae.
It's really great to see you. I look forward to our time together all the time.
We are missing
Always.
Melinda today. She's got some things to handle, and so our thoughts and hearts are always with her.
Always.
And we're glad to be doing this together.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's good that we have the three of us, because sometimes life does
Correct.
happen. There are other things that come up on a regular basis. So this does give us flexibility, and that is something we've done for each other in our connection, the three of us, our trio, is that we support each other fully. And we realize that sometimes one of us needs to bow out for a little bit, or needs more support, or needs some time off, or something like that. Or and we always fully support.
Yes.
Always.
Absolutely. And send prayers and blessings.
Prayers and blessings to her.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I am Kim Andrews. I am the spiritual leader at Unity Saxe in Saxe, Texas. And Miss Pjae.
Yes. And my name is Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and I am the spiritual leader at Harmony Spiritual Center in Fort Worth. Yay.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Today
everyone.
talking about being and doing, and really this is another conversation that is connected to abundance and living in the flow of abundance, and what might that look like. So we wanted to step back a little bit and talk about this, our paradigm of life. What does that mean? And the difference between being and doing, and how do they relate to being in the flow of life?
Correct.
And I think that's one of the things I love about metaphysics, is that it does require you, if you're practicing and if you're giving yourself to it fully, that it does require you to have a real handle on who you are, what you believe in. And because that, for me, is the basis of the being and doing.
Yeah.
It dictates the being, and from being comes doing, for me, at least.
Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings. It's silly, but I love it. When I think I've heard it since I've been in New Thought since 1995. It's that you cannot do a bee. You have to be a bee. You have to be a bee. And we get busy with all the doingness of life, which is fine. We're on this physical planet. We're here to experience life. And so there's a lot of doing. And so I think today just kind of want to talk about the difference between the two, and what it means to be a bee. When does being come into place? And then how do we balance the two of them? Because they're yin yang. You have to do, and then you have to be, and then you have to do, and you have to be. And so balancing how that comes about, and when you're doing both, when you're being both, it's just kind of just a little topic I want to talk about and see how what happens for us, and just share some thoughts. That's what we do every week. Just share some thoughts.
I had a hard lesson, as you know, Pjae, with being and doing, and had gotten
Yes.
overwhelmed,
Yes.
and realized, well, I could not remember the last time I took a Sunday off from my center. And if you can't pinpoint that, then you probably haven't taken one off in a very long time.
Yeah, that's probably a clue.
I don't think I've taken a Sunday off completely this year.
Wow.
We're now in June. The Sundays I was not here, I was speaking somewhere else.
Right.
So I would imagine the last time I took a Sunday off was because I was at retreat in the fall of last
Yeah.
year. It was way
Wow.
too long,
Wow.
way too long. So I had gotten in a place where uh, uh, I had to admit I was overwhelmed. First, I had to make that admission to myself.
Correct.
And I probably have been telling myself for at least several weeks, "Oh, you're not overwhelmed. You're okay." And I think if you have to say that, then you probably are.
That's a clue right there. That's a
Because
clue.
something within me was saying, "You're probably overwhelmed. You should do something about that." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I'm not. I'm good. I'm good. You
Yep.
really are." And then the Sunday before last, I guess it was June 9, I had real uh, signs that I was overwhelmed. They were quite loud. And
Oh,
it started in the first thing in the morning when I woke up and I knew I didn't want to go in.
that's
And
a that's a big clue. It's a
big
big
clue.
clue. Yeah.
I procrastinated on everything there was to do to get ready. I, squealed on here and on two wheels and over the threshold. At the very last minute, I needed to be here, avoided most I could avoid. And I love speaking to my group. I love
Absolutely.
message. It's one of my power places. It's
Yeah.
where I feel most connected. Um, One of the places I feel most connected to spirit because I got a message coming through me. And right up until the time as the person's finishing the song, right before I get up, I'm thinking, Lord, if I get out of here, I don't want to do this. And I thought, whoa, okay, big sign, billboard, 2x4 in the face. I need a day off.
Yeah.
I need a day off because the thing I most enjoy, I didn't want to do. Yeah.
That right there. Right there. Like, what is this about? This
So,
is
yeah, on
yeah.
the way home, and I getting off of George Bush, and I went, "Yeah, baby, you're overwhelmed. Okay, what you going to do about it?" And I think that's when I called you, and
Yeah. Yeah. We had a
answered.
good time. Had a good
Oh,
time.
I love you for hearing me, because I was venting up and down, and I was, oh gosh, just felt between a rock and a hard place. But
Yeah.
I wedged
Yeah.
myself there because I had been doing, and convincing myself that the doing was enough. And so this past Sunday when I took off, all I did was be.
Beautiful.
I
Beautiful.
probably could have done a number of things, but I said, nope, I'm just going to be here. I was in silence for a while. Um, I got up late. I laid in bed for a while after I opened my eyes. It ended up being a pajama day until until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I laid around. Had a nice breakfast, listened to some
Beautiful.
music.
Yeah.
I read a novel I had been reading and hadn't picked up in weeks, and I
Yeah.
really am enjoying the book. And it was just me and spirit
Yeah. Oh,
getting in
beautiful.
touch with what it
Beautiful.
feels like to be off. And I thought, oh my goodness, I need
Wow.
this more
Yeah.
often. So I now have um, 5 more days. Sundays. I'm taking off this year
Excellent.
to take care
Excellent.
of me and my soul
Yeah.
and my spirit. And so, yeah, this being and doing. And when I was just at home being, that's, Sunday morning, I just felt like I was home. I mean, I just felt not in my physical home, but home in my heart.
Right.
And it felt like a breath of fresh air. And all I could say was, wow, have I missed this? And I didn't know
Yeah.
until I was back in it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And we've talked about it many times about taking days off, and I think that there are certain I don't know I don't want to call it business, but there's certain work, whether ministry, um, counseling, anything that motherhood, anything that has to do with caring for others.
Hmm.
We don't, as the people who are caring for others, we simply feel like we can't let people down. We can't if we somehow take off or don't answer the phone. I still haven't mastered the not answering the phone thing yet. So even on my days off, I'll pick up the phone and then people don't have any breaks in terms of how long they want to hold on the phone and what they want to share with you and things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And so there's just this whole feeling all the time of constantly having to talk to myself and yourself as well, as I'm hearing you say, that we have to just be. What even as I say, I have, do we go to work on Sunday, and Sunday is a very emotional day. It's you're doing your talk, you're talking to people, you're trying to help people solve their, you're praying for people, all kinds of things. And so when you go home after work on that day, you are drained.
Mhm.
So I try to take Monday off. But then I talk about myself. You don't need the whole day off. You've got work to do. You have you have this class that you're trying to finish, and you got this work that you want to do, and you've got people you want to call and call back, and this and that. Um, just same with you. I try, but then I feel like I'm slogging through mud. Like it's just getting harder and harder to move my feet, to
Yes.
get up and do something until I'm just sitting. I'm gonna take a lunch break. I'm sitting down for lunch and cannot get back up. Well, there you go. I guess I am taking off because I don't have the wit, the wherewithal or the energy to get back up. And so that's the only time that noise in your head saying you got to do something, you got to do something, you got to do something quiets down. And it finally realizes, well, I can't browbeat her today. So I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So I think this is a really good time and a good place for us to be talking about it because it's just difficult to give ourselves permission. There's a paradigm that we're working with. I don't know where, well, I do know where it comes from. It's this whole thing that we live in. It's not just the US, it's the world where you've got to be moving, shaking, doing. You just sitting there and being is not allowed. And I was reading some stuff from some of these creatives, artists, writers, things like that, and they talk about this. Musicians, they talk about this. Just there's a word. I'm trying to get this. I got to get this last little line in. I've got to. It's got to come to me. It's got to come to me. It's got to come to me, and it does not. And so just sitting and being with it and letting it float in.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Yeah.
yeah. So getting. I guess I said it's like you know getting comfortable with the float. Just getting comfortable, just being still, trusting the universe, and you don't have to make anything happen. Just let it flow in, let it be, and you're okay. So
I know
these are
that
things I'm
feeling.
learning.
Feel like you're slogging through mud. Deep
Yes,
mud, like it's up to your hips,
seriously.
and everything feels like a chore.
Yes,
And I notice too that when I'm overwhelmed, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks now, where I get in a state of inertia. So I'm productive, and then when I do take a break, I'm usually sitting and I'm watching those Netflix episodes go by. So I'm not
yes,
doing anything creative. I'm not feeding my soul. I'm not
no,
doing anything that speaks to me, or like sitting and listening to music
yeah,
refreshes me in a way that other things do not.
right,
Getting in the swimming pool and not doing a workout, but just enjoying the water.
yeah,
Maybe watering my plants and walking through and talking to them. That is a way of being for me. Or just sitting in the room with it being quiet and just being in the quiet, appreciating the feeling I have when I sit in certain rooms of my
yeah,
house.
exactly. In your lovely, beautiful house, just being in there, just being with
Just
it.
being in there. Maybe I want to lay in bed and just kind of luxuriate and not having to get up and go.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
just the feeling of laying there and saying, oh, I got some leisure time here,
Right.
and
I can
enjoying
do this.
that. So
Yeah.
I think we do have this in Western culture, this thing about productivity. And I was brought up that if you're not doing something, then you are unproductive. But that is the point of beingness, to
That
be
is the point.
unproductive, and to
Yes.
remember that we don't have to produce to be worthy or to be deserving or to earn
Exactly.
anything. or that we are important because we produce. We are important, and we are worthy, if that's even that, because that's not something that we have in New Thought. You don't have to be worthy of anything. You are
No, no,
treasured and you are loved simply because you are.
exactly correct. Exactly correct. And so
Yes.
you're allowed to just sit and be with yourself, in your place, with spirit or not. It doesn't make any difference, just breathing. And so, yeah, in this way, we just you're what I heard a lot is that if you're not doing something, you're lazy. You're letting your mind go. There's all these negatives
Mhm.
about just being. But what I do know is that learning and understanding things is is a collection of things that come, and they don't all just because you're like, I'm taking a class. Well, just because I'm taking a class and I'm learning some particular things, but the entire learning only comes after the class is over and you sat with it and it starts to fall on you. Oh, and now I've moved to another place. I have more knowledge and more, and I'm very relaxed because I have this knowing that when you're rushing through the class, you're trying to be and try to get and try to do, and only after it's all over and you sit with it do you realize, oh my gosh, I have moved. I have moved. I have learned. I know this intrinsically now. I have moved myself, my body, my mind to a higher level. I don't know if a higher is the word, but to the place I wanted to go. And I am there now.
Mhm.
But it took all of that and while we're doing all of that, we're just rushing and wanting to do.
Yeah.
So the being comes after the doing. You've done it, and then you've got to sit with it and let it be.
Mhm.
Let it be. Just breathe and let it be. So these are just um, it's part of the human experience, I think, of assuming that we can force things to happen by doing, and we simply
Yes.
can't. We simply can't. We don't have any control over that. We can do what we can do, but then the being comes when it comes, and we just sit and let it. So
I experience the same thing with my class. So, that it's about consciousness, and so a lot of things we're reading are very heady
yes,
and complicated. And we have a thought paper to write each week. And what I noticed was that I needed a period of being before I could
yes,
write my thought paper, because now I got all these concepts in my head running
right,
around, and I don't know what I think to do a thought paper
right,
until I let all this marinate, until I let it
right.
do what it's supposed to do, until I come up with something that is a um, uh, what would I say? Well, until I get some concept that is mine that I'm going to bring forward to
Correct,
this work to
correct,
articulate in my paper. And
correct.
so part of my work and part of this class and the study was just a period of beingness to let all that happen.
Exactly.
And
So all
so,
that doing is settle. Yeah,
yes, I
yeah,
would finish my
yeah.
reading on Monday, or sometimes I finished it rarely, but sometimes I had finished on Sunday. Papers were due Tuesday night, and a lot of times I was up still writing my paper late on Tuesday because things started to come together Tuesday
Exactly,
morning,
exactly.
and they
Overnight, just let it sit.
came easily. Then they flowed, like you said. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
I'm hearing my paper ahead, and I would just start to
exactly.
write it. Often, I was dictating it into my phone because it was coming that
Right,
fast. But yet, if I tried to
exactly.
force it, here I was back in that mud, slogging forward.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Correct, correct. So that's a little bit of what beingness looks like. Yes, we can't be until we do. We have to do certain things, but then we have to sit with those things. We have to sit with it and say,
Mhm.
all right, this is what I've done. Give it some time. It'll settle on my heart and my mind. And what does it mean to me now? The whole contemplation piece that we need to do, just contemplate. Where am I going with this? What does this mean to me? What do I believe about this? How is this going to uh, settle in? And how does what do I know? And sometimes I don't have all the answers there. I'm just going to be with it and just know over time that I am uplifted, that I have taken on some new information that has I'm trying to have a hard time describing it because it's new information, but that has assimilated, and now I know at a greater level. but I can, but I can't force that. That we have to do, and then sit, and then be, and then the understanding comes, or the assimilation comes, or the understanding comes.
Mhm.
But you have to do for sure. Can't None of that's going to happen without the actual doing. So we do have to that, but not the doing isn't going to do it by itself. I love that.
That's
The doing
right.
isn't going to do it by itself.
Well, how
So,
about if we take a break and then let's come back and maybe talk about flow and overwhelm? And I had some thoughts about that, but we'll take
okay,
a break
sounds good.
here.
Okay. We are back.
And we're back. We're back. So I was thinking, when we allow ourselves time to be, like we were saying, on a regular basis, because we need that.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's part of prayer and meditation.
Yes.
But there's also a time when we need to take a break from the doing, like we've said,
Yes.
our regular routine, even the things that we love. And I think I had um, I was probably deluding myself in thinking that because I love something and I do love being here at my center and the work of ministry, that
Yeah.
somehow you don't need a break from that because you love it. And
Exactly.
it's not true. It's not true. We need a
No,
break from everything. Mothers need a break, like you said.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Um, Everyone who's in the process of doing, no matter what you do, we do it better when we allow ourselves breaks. When you go on vacations, when you take breaks during the day. I was just reading something or listening to one of the people I follow on TikTok that even when you're working during the day, that if you work for 25 minutes and then take 5 off, you are more focused, clear, and productive in the 25 minutes than if you try to slog through 2, 3 hours at a time without a mental break,
Yeah.
a physical break to stand up, maybe walk around the room, step outside for a little while,
Right.
sit in the sun, maybe close, shut your eyes. Maybe you're still at your desk. You at least stand up and shut your eyes for a little bit and decrease the amount of stimulation that's coming into the brain and into your body.
Yeah.
And so we need a break, and that's when I feel like that's when we get to overwhelm. And I kind of kept thinking about swimming upstream, and I think the only, in my limited knowledge of nature, salmon are the only
Salmon.
things that are supposed to swim upstream. And that's what it feels like. That's what that slogging through the mud is you're swimming against the current.
Yes.
And actually, when salmon are swimming upstream, they're going to lay eggs and die. So
So there you go.
there you go.
So there's a lesson there. There-
Even for those who their instinct is to swim upstream are going to die. So just saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
They know it's the end of the road, but they're driven there anyway. So
Exactly. And
uh,
there is, yeah. You just talked about just getting a break, even from the things that you love, and um, that I love my family a great deal, and that the women in my family, we get together, we do a number of things, and I'm so thrilled and so excited to be around them, and we spend about a little less than a week together, just being and all of that. And I tell you, when that's done, I'm ready to go.
yeah,
I'm ready to I'm ready to get out of there because I'm in overwhelm. I'm in overwhelm, and these are women that I absolutely love. we're of the same accord. We are supportive of each other. We're all entrepreneurs, and so we help each other with our businesses, with our children, all kinds of things. And after just this overload of love and this thing that I love so much, I'm ready to I'm ready to take a break and say, okay, well, I'll call you in a couple weeks. Couple weeks. I just need to do that. And so yeah, there is this thing that we do, um, of just being overwhelmed and doing too much of the thing that we love a great deal. And the other thing you talked about was flow, and I was then thinking about, because we use that term a lot in New Thought. I'm in the flow of life. But even to be able to explain that, a number of things, to be able to explain what that is, to actually be able to get in the flow, because we are such, uh, I think, as human beings, this need to be moving
Mhm.
and doing. And that's not what flow is. Flow is actually relaxing into it, and trusting, um, that exactly the right thing, exactly the right time, atmosphere, information, whatever it is, will flow in as you just relax and let that happen. And
Mhm.
so that's a difficult concept. And I know that when I'm in meditation or prayer, I'm looking for answers. And so just the act of talking, the act of speaking, thinking, the prayer is this doing thing. And not until I finish that, and then I just breathe and go, all right, I'm just going to wait for the answer. I'm just going to wait for it. I'm not going to force that. Just be, because I know it'll flow out. And it's just so interesting how it absolutely just pops in. Like you just ask for it, and it's just, and then the truth just pops in. Wow. But that's flow. That's
Mhm.
part of what flow looks like. So
Yeah, I
you
think
need to
we can be in
understand.
the flow as we're doing, and that the doing can be the flow, and that it is. It's like what's that? Is it Staples that has an easy button?
Yes. Is it stable?
And then
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
realize that what I need to be doing and what I'm called to do on a daily basis or hour by hour, I set my priorities, and then sometimes things get shifted by what's happening in life, or in my day, and so I just let it be. Like you said, well, this wasn't a priority. I'll move it. I try not to have. I used to live by putting out fires all the time.
Yeah.
Everything's an
Yes.
emergency,
Yes.
everything, and
Yes.
I've gotten away
Yes.
from that because I am more in the flow and I do pay attention, and I am.
Yes. Pay attention. Yes.
I'm in my awareness and I hear messages from the universe, from spirit, and that consciousness that we live and move and have our being in. And I get the hows, and I'll have something will come up that's a business idea or a marketing idea, and I'll write
Yes.
it down and I'll say,
Yes.
okay, so
Okay.
that's the how, and I'll implement that today.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's the time when we're just in the flow, and the flow is I'm here, um, in the awareness of spirit, in the silence, and just being. And I think our doing can be a beingness if we are in the flow.
Correct.
But
Correct.
that's
I
when
think so.
I know I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just in it.
Right.
I'm wondering, gosh, my day is going, it's just kind of flowing. It doesn't mean nothing
Yes.
changed. It didn't mean that some another priority came up and I had to let something go or push it to the next day or later in the day. But I had this relaxation in the day.
Yes.
I am joyful in the day. There's no stress, and I'm just thinking, oh, I got a lot done today, and I didn't feel like I was working.
Correct. Correct.
There was no
Uh,
slogging through. And I know
exactly.
when I feel like that, then yes, I'm in the flow as I'm doing, and my
Absolutely.
doing is a form of my beingness, I think.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that. As Linda Perry put this little message in here, and she says, and I agree with you, Linda, that when you are in the zone, so the flow is in the zone, and you're kind of in the zone in 15 minutes. I mean, 2 hours feels like 15 minutes because you're just in the zone and everything is working and flowing, and the information is coming, and yes, yes, and you just grab these little pieces, writing them down, and moving forward, and that is the flow, the zone of being, of the beingness. You're exactly correct. And then she said, there's also times when I'm not in the zone. I'm not in the flow. And 15 minutes feels like 2 hours and nothing's happening. But I think when that also happens, Linda, that when 15 minutes feels like 2 hours, there may be something there that we just want to take time and kick back on. You know, you just how do I say it? Just to say, all right, I'm not in the flow with that. Something else needs to happen here. So I'm going to step away from that. I'm going to step away from that because there is no flow here. The answers are not happening for me here, and that's okay. It's not like you don't have 15 other things you could be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that is listening to you, knowing the zone, the flow, what it means for you. And when you're in the flow, move on. And when you're not, you know what? Fine, fine. I have other things to do. I'm going to get up, go outside, feel the sun on my face, come back and see what's here for me now. See what's here for me. So it's really when I'm the whole that's kind of being in the being mode, and that is about present moments awareness,
Yeah.
being aware of what is happening in the moment and going with that and not forcing it, not saying, well, I'm here now and it has to come now. It doesn't.
And
Really?
is it truly?
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, you already.
Is it really?
Yeah, is it? So, just all of these tools, knowing, understandings that we have within us, that we know if it feels like it's being forced, it is not the right time. It's not, I'm not in the right place, whatever reason. And
Yeah.
it's what the right place or right time is. We don't know, but we know this ain't it. So we just move off. Okay, move off. It's not going anywhere. It's going to come back. It's okay. And this is the thing we know about. Because you know why? Because we're divine. And so the divine is never going to leave us. It's just saying, hey, chill out, take a breath. I'm still going to be here. Just relax. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we do. So it's listening too. It's all of those
It is. Wayne put in here the divine chill. I love that.
things. Exactly. Exactly.
And the
Because you just
divine
know
chill.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. You just know. Yes. That's for me. You go. That is mine. That is mine to do. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
the thing to listen to, I think we forget as human beings that we are a part of nature, and all of nature has a chill period.
Yes.
Winter is a chill period
Good point.
in nature. Most animals know instinctively to go and rest.
Yes.
There's some
To
animals
hibernate.
that they may rest all day in the heat of the day, and then they hunt at night when it's cooler.
Right.
And so they are driven by instinct. And here, as human beings, because we have free will, we can override that instinct to rest
Yeah.
and push the envelope, keep pushing, keep pushing,
Valid point.
pushing.
Valid point. Yeah.
And and body, mind, spirit, all I call them the four parts of beingness: body, mind, spirit, and heart. All of it needs beingness. All of it needs
Yes.
rest.
Yes.
All of it needs time apart. The body certainly needs rest, and so I push mine to the envelope, push the envelope with my body, and it got so that I didn't want to work out.
Which
And I
you know
love
you love.
it's part of my morning routine.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the last couple of weeks, I've done nothing but procrastinate on that. Oh, I go another day. I'll work out tomorrow. Oh, I go another, and that's not like me because I do enjoy it and I enjoy the benefits, and it's good
Right.
for my brain and my marriage. Because I'm less stressed, easier to live with. If I'm working out.
Yeah. And these are the times that we can ask ourselves a question. If we're in tune, we can say, okay, that's not me. That's not like me. What's happening?
What's
What are
happening?
you saying to me right now? What are you telling? Who is talking? Mind, body, spirit, heart. Well, who needs what? And let's just check in. So that's again, I think part of the being mode is present moment awareness and understand. I love that whole 4-part thing, where we have to pay attention to all of it and say, okay, who needs who needs attention? What's going on here? Or do we just need the body needs rest? What do we need?
Yeah, like I said, my spirit specifically, and probably my body and brain. Okay, all parts of me. We're saying, Kim, you need a break. You're overwhelmed. You're
Yes,
overwhelmed. Take a break.
yes,
Take a break. Take a break.
yes,
And
yes,
I really, no, I didn't really think I was. I was just shouting louder than the parts of me that were letting me know I needed a break.
yes,
And I kept saying, oh,
yes.
we're really okay. And they're saying, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Are you really? So that
No, we are not, girlfriend.
June 9th on the way home, after Sunday, I finally said, okay, you're right. All right. So
Yes,
I'll do something about
yes,
this.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
did immediately. And I think the next day I called somebody and said, "Hey, can you speak for me Sunday the 16th?" And I will, because I
Right.
need a break. And
Right.
I just said, I'm sorely in need of a break. Can you help me out? And they said,
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
started to feel better right away. I just felt, whew,
Whew.
okay.
Yeah, that's off my shoulders. I don't have to go there.
Yeah.
And that's another clue there because you're thinking like, I don't have to go there. And the place I love, I'm
The place.
wanting to break from that. I don't want to go. I'm thinking negative thoughts about going there, being there, and the people that are there. I don't want to do it. This is me. I'm just thinking, oh God, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So there's a big clue right there when that happens because you know what you love. You know you really do love this. And so if you're not wanting to be around it, around my the people that I love, around my community, whatever, there's something going on with me. What is it? Take a break. Get okay. I'm going on a cruise, starting on a family reunion cruise, starting on Saturday. And I've got so many books in my Kindle and Audible books. And I already see myself. I have a vision of myself on my deck chair, deck lounge chair with my books in my ear thing, and everybody's going by and I go, and I'm just gonna be whatever. I'm just gonna be
Just wave.
there. Okay, hey,
Okay.
hiya,
I'm
hiya,
here.
have a good time. Yeah,
Read
I'm
the
right here. You can find me right here. Don't make me take my earplugs out though. Don't do it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just looking forward to that. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not gonna like what happens when I do that. So don't do that. This is my time. And so just we talk about this with caregivers all the time. They're one of the worst in terms of taking time for themselves. But if you're a loving, compassionate person, who isn't a caregiver? You may not be to the lengths, but who's a caregiver if you're a loving, compassionate person? And it's so interesting, isn't it, that we care and give care to everyone but ourselves, as if we're some sort of superhuman and don't need it.
Mhm.
Uh, really?
And the statistics for caregivers are very scary because I think that it's as high as 60 to 65% of caregivers will die before the people they're caring for.
Amazing. I completely believe that. I
Yeah.
completely believe that. You can't, it's interesting because you can't talk anybody out of what they're doing. I mean, no one can talk me out of doing my ministry or whatever because it's what I love. So that's not the way to do it. But they have to say, I have to say, we have to say, I need a break. I'm going to love myself enough. And I think that's the bottom line is to love yourself enough to care for yourself. And that loving care is taking a break from the things that you love and getting a fresh perspective, taking a breath and saying, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'll be back. And
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. Like you're letting people down. For me, it feels like I'm letting people down. I'm leaving them in a lurch. Well, here's my favorite thing to say, and it's trite, but it really helps me, is that when you keel over and you take your last breath, do you think that everybody's gonna lay down with you? Or are they gonna move on with their lives?
Yeah.
So that's not really true, is it? They can do just fine without you. They probably like you around, but they can do it without you.
Yeah. I
It's been
believe that's one
proven.
of the purposes of respite care. Now,
Yeah.
so the
Okay.
caregivers have a place to go, and then they bring in people who can take care of your loved one that you've been caring for, and then you get to have a couple of days to yourself so
Yeah.
that you can refresh and renew and really do with love and bring your best to whatever it is you're doing.
Correct.
So we are you and I
Correct.
and Melinda, we are better in ministry when we take breaks.
Absolutely correct.
Then we can come
Absolutely
back
correct.
fully. We can absolutely come
Absolutely.
back fully.
And I think we're good. I think you need to, if it is all possible, to have someone around you who loves you, who you respect, and who can say, girlfriend, you need to take a day off. Take a day off. Okay. Yeah. This ain't you. This is not you. Take it off.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Do that. Do that for yourself. And so, just trusting those people and just saying, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Thank you. I'm going to thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So,
Yeah, even in
um,
relationship you're talking about, time with your family. If
yeah,
you're have a significant other or a marriage, someone you're living with, sharing a home with, you need breaks from each other. And I think
You do.
when we don't do that, then we lose ourselves because
Yeah.
everything is perpetually given to the relationship and to the other person.
Correct.
And so there's a danger there. And I think when we do spend time apart, then you can indulge yourself in the things that may feed you, but not your partner.
Correct.
And
Correct.
be in touch with who you are and what your needs are and whether or not they're being met. Because our partners can never um, uh, be everything for us, and they shouldn't be.
No, then we don't want them to be. Well,
They shouldn't.
we don't want them
And
to be.
so we need time apart. I know, my husband and I plan times. We might say, okay, let's take a break and we'll go do what we each want to do, and we'll meet back at this time.
Exactly. Exactly. So you don't feel guilty about just having the indulgences that you need that you know they don't care for, and vice versa.
Right.
And there are times when you do things with a loved one because it's important to them, and so you want to share that. But it's not my thing. I'm not going to be doing this all the time, but I will share every now and again just to appreciate what it is that you appreciate. I get that, but I still need, we still need our own individual times to say this is. I will, because I love music and I love listening to great musicians and singers and things. I will sit in a smoky bar and until it closes.
Mhm.
And my friends and my partners are like, "What? It's time to go. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm all right." Because I'm going to stay there till the last drum is beat until they put it away. I'm going to be there. I love it. It energizes me. It doesn't so much for everyone else, so that's all right. All
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Music's
I
one of
guess
the great places.
uh, we're going to take a little short break and
Yeah.
come
Let's
on
take
back.
our last break of the day, and then we'll be back.
We'll be back. Thank you all for being here, for your comments.
There was a funky
All right.
music again, right?
I love that what is that funk bass where they're just kind of, it sounds like they're just kind of hitting it with their thumb. I love that. So I was just looking at some things and I was looking at and thinking about the differences between being and doing. And just briefly, the doing mode is so action oriented. It's just we've got to get something done. We're focused all the time on achieving, solving something, fixing something, helping somebody, accomplishing a task, meeting. Just constantly. We're just when we're being, we're in a doing kind of a mode. Or sorry, when we're just in a doing mode, and so it's also I think that the doing mode is future focused because we're thinking about I have this list. I wake up every morning. I have to get this out before I can even meditate. I have to get all of this stuff out of my head that I wake up with of things that I have to do today. Because it's about if I don't plan on this and get this done, then the rest of the week, Tuesdays, if I don't get it on Monday, Tuesdays messed up. There, so I'm trying to plan out the whole week and make sure that I take the steps that are correct for the days that are coming up. So it's quite often doing. It's quite often future focused, and for the accomplishment of something. Um, but when we're in the being mode, as I said before, it's just we're in this present. We're in the present moment, and I think that is. I think that's kind of where I want to be most of the time. Even if I'm doing something, I want to be present in the doing.
In the doing, not
Yeah,
multitasking. Yeah.
not multitasking. Present in the doing, because all of it, all the moments, all the things that we are is still my life. It's still my life, and I don't want to go. I don't want it to go by unnoticed. I don't want to go by unnoticed. I want to be very intentional, even about the things that I am doing. Like you said this morning, like you said your exercise. I love just walking around my neighborhood. I'm meeting a lot of people. I stop and chit. I'm meeting a lot of people in the neighborhood now, and that I'm just kind of walking around the neighborhood, and I love it. Just to get my 10,000 steps in, and I'm just so enjoying that. And when I don't do that, I feel like something's missing out of the day. And it's for no other reason than just the exercise just the movement, just to move my body because we're physical, beings and we need to move, animals. But these added benefits that are coming up, just noticing the neighborhood, noticing my neighbors, meeting them, talking with them, it's just a joy, just being in the present moment, even in the doing. So
I think it brings a richness to life that otherwise we would miss
I think so.
if we
Yeah,
were just in production mode all the time. And here, walking
exactly.
around your neighborhood allows you time to do that, to enjoy the
Yeah.
trees and the nature and where you
Yes,
live and have an appreciation for that and running into people that you normally would not run into. And you
exactly.
have these moments together, which
Yes,
make life rich.
it really does. It really does. And so I'm really just enjoying that. Um, and also I know that when I'm doing this and this being, and I'm just using the walking around because it's just such a good example. I see it clearly as I'm doing that, is that there's no judgment. I'm not judging anything. I'm not judging the people that I come across or the what's going on in the neighborhood. I'm not judging anything. I'm just in the moment with them. And so there's just no, it's just free. It's free of any having to be something more or something greater. It just is what it is. And I love that. I love being free to do that.
Mhm.
So that's to me, that's what the being mode is about that as well. Just
Yeah.
you don't have time for that. You don't have to judge anything. Just be in it.
And I think, as we're talking about this, I think this is a nice segue into this. What about beingness and doing in abundance? And I think as we are being in the present moment, those are the times when I have this great awareness that I live in an opulent universe, that there
Yes,
is this richness to life that has, of course, abundance also has a financial component in it, but
absolutely.
realize that there are um, millions of ways that we are rich and that we live in a universe that provides all things beauty, um, other people, variety, other personalities, other
Yes,
conversations you can have. Like you said, not being in a place of judgment, but of bonding, having a
yes,
connection, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, with
yes,
somebody who lives on your street. And
yes,
I think I've talked about this before. My barber, I go like every 3 weeks. I go there, and yet he and I live completely different lives, and yet we have this connection, and I love being there because he's just sweet and he does good business and he always does a great time and he's always so open hearted, at least with me when I go in. And I've
yes,
watched him with a couple of other customers, uh, and I leave there saying, "Oh my gosh, just even getting my haircut is a wonderful experience."
exactly,
And I feel this
exactly.
connection with another human being who normally would not, if I wasn't getting my haircut there, I
With
would.
Noah, yeah, with Noah,
And yet
exactly.
we share some things. We've had some conversations while I'm in the chair that were just rich and wonderful.
Yes,
I have a connection with the. I had to go get a blood test the other day, and the phlebotomist. We're having this great conversation as I'm sitting there, and I
exactly.
thought, how wonderful that I can have this
Just this.
experience. And I'm giving blood. I'm
Yes,
having a blood test.
exactly.
Normally, people are like, "Oh my God, I don't want to have that done, but I got to do it." And here I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, he's such a wonderful young man," and we had this great conversation.
Oh,
I can't wait to come
love,
back.
I love it.
You get some
I
more blood. You
know.
need some more blood.
I know. So it just makes every, just big in this being mode. Um, you it just makes everything so much more rich because you're so present and with, whatever is going on. And people joke and there's all kinds of stuff about Walmart. I was listening to a comedian talking about how she absolutely hates going to Walmart and it's the worst place. And I just thought, well, it's it could be a reflection of your own thoughts actually. Is it really that bad? Because one of the places that I love to go is to Walmart. I have more interaction and chit chat and conversations. And I was going. I stopped at Walmart on Sunday morning, to, Father's Day,
Mhm.
because I talked with my son the night before. We were going to get together and go to Top Golf. I was going to go there after church, and
Oh,
I thought,
nice.
oh Jesus, I don't have a card or anything because I wasn't planning on seeing him. So I go to Walmart on Sunday morning before I go to church to pick up a card. And so I go down, and so I'm walking, and I'm trying to figure out where's the Father's Day aisle. And then there's this woman, she's there, and she's just kind of looking back and forth. And I said, well, this is probably the aisle right here, because why else is she going to be there? So I go and I'm looking, and I just walk right up to the card that I needed, which seemed to be the only card for a son
Mm.
that was there. And she just looked at me, and I looked at her. She said, "Well, I guess we messed up coming here because this whole thing has been raked over. There's nothing here." And so we had this great conversation about how we just wait to the last minute, and if we want to be upset about there's nothing to choose from. I said, "Yeah, we just got to take it. We can take whatever the universe gives us now because we did this. We didn't wait. We didn't come when there was a whole bunch of choices. And so, but there are some choices, and so she picked something. But we just enjoyed the funniness of it and just each other's company just for a brief moment,
Just for
just
brief.
a brief, yeah, just being in that moment with each other. So there's
And I
there's
think
many
if
great
we
things.
can acknowledge that richness and that gift in the moment, that opens the door for more abundance to flow into our lives
Yes,
in all ways. And
yes,
so that, yes, then financial resources, you realize, oh, there is a richness here. And then it does, it signals to the universe that you are open, you see it. And so it
yes.
always sends you, like you said, you get what you see.
You get what you see, what you're expecting to see, what you're
What you're
expecting to
expecting.
get. You really are. You really are. So the good news about that is that if you are getting things that you don't want to get, you can simply change your expectation. You get to change that because you know what I mean. Because the law of attraction that really works. And so you can just change that. Whatever's on your mind, just putting out this energy of I'm going to be happy with whoever I meet and greet. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be a good connection in some way. And that's just your thought about it. Um, Something came in my mind. It came and left as we were talking. So hopefully it'll pop back in. It may or may not. That's the way life goes.
Yeah, it's
Just yeah,
gotten so that I expect all my encounters with people, whether on the phone or in person, are always going to be good and that it
that's
will
it.
add to the richness of my life. And because
Yeah,
of that, I always get that, always.
always.
And I've had to, in conversations sometimes with people about race and expectations and this narrative that there is always discrimination. I don't find it because all I
Right,
get from
right.
from all people, no matter who it is, from all kinds of cultures, is a welcoming spirit. And
Exactly.
so I have had to say to people, sorry, that's not my experience.
It's
But
not my.
I don't expect that to happen. I don't
I'm not
expect
looking for it.
negative. I don't
Yeah.
expect not to be
No.
welcome. I
No.
expect that people are going to always enjoy my presence, and I enjoy theirs. I expect that I
Absolutely.
enjoy
Absolutely.
other people,
Yeah.
and as a result, I do.
Yeah.
And people usually marvel at that, and I say, well, that's kind of what I get. And so if we stay in that vein,
Yeah.
then the world responds to us.
It does.
And maybe there are people out there who don't like me, but I don't see them. I don't. In fact, if I do run into
Yes.
somebody, I'm usually shocked. I run into
That's
somebody
exactly what I was getting ready to say.
counter.
That's
I'm like,
that's
oh,
exactly. What? Oh, wait a minute. I don't think she likes me. I don't think it. And it's a surprise. I'm stunned. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm
yes,
just surprised and stunned by it. I go,
surprise.
oh well.
Oh,
Oh, oh, okay.
you're lost. That's you're
Exactly.
lost.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I know what I was going to say earlier was, and I get these stunned looks from people when I say it, like and I get that. I understand everybody has their own way of doing things, but I do not look at my bank account for my abundance. I don't.
Right. Yes.
I am always surprised at
Mhm.
how much is in my account when I have to go and like put something in there. When oh, I already had. Oh, this is already here because when you're in this being place and you know the universe is abundant. If spirit has asked me, has told me to go someplace to do something, whatever, I know that all that I need to get it done is available.
Is
I
available.
don't need to check the bank account because when I feel when I do that, it's saying that I don't believe in the abundance of the universe, and I do. Now, not to say that I'm going to be, I'm not aware of, I've got X amount coming in, and I know that X amount needs to go out. I got to pay rent, I got to get gas, and things like that. But when some other extra thing comes up, I'm like, okay, well, it needs to get done, and I'm just going to assume, spirit, uh, that it's going to come. That the way to pay for it, the way to get it done. And so for me, that is the abundance of the universe. That
Yes.
I'm not concerned. I'm really not. Um, because the universe is abundant. And what I know is this. if we are all individualized expressions of the one love, and we are, in order for spirit, the universal presence, to move things around on a physical planet, it takes physical bodies to move it. So I believe that everybody is conspiring for my good, and
Mhm.
I am conspiring for theirs as well. So when spirit whispers in my ear and says, do something, I don't ask why. I don't know that person. I don't ask any of that. Oh, okay. Because I feel like that's, you know what I mean? That's how spirit moves things around on this physical planet, is by whispering in our ears. And if we don't listen, it's okay. He'll whisper to someone else. It's all right. But that's what it is for me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how I
that
see it.
that continual give and take.
Yes.
To give into the
Yes.
universe, to receive from the universe, and there is a flow, that circular flow, and it all works. And
It does.
this thing about abundance, that even our words, like currency is a movement. Current
Yes.
means that
Current.
there's a flow there, and that's
Yes.
what money is. It's
Love
a
it.
a currency of energy. You give
Yeah.
out and you give back, and what you give out often is what you get back,
Correct. Correct.
whether
So
it's energetically, financially. So I forget, I don't know if we were talking about here or someplace else, even if you don't have a lot of financial resources, I started out when things were tighter, tipping a little bit more than
sure.
usual. And
Right.
that could mean a couple of more dollars, not, you don't have to do 10, 20, $30, $50.
Right. Right. Right.
Given a little bit more. Maybe you're more
Right.
generous in compliments to people. There's so many ways to
So
give
many ways.
and to be
Exactly.
more in the universe. Maybe give a service to somebody for free or at a discounted rate.
Exactly.
Um,
Be more compassionate. Be more compassionate in your heart for people. Just have more compassion for whatever's going on for someone else. And just
yeah.
I think I don't know if I shared this with you, and we're gonna go here in a minute, but I was at a what was I at? I was at a Dollar Tree, you know.
Mhm.
So that means that everything in there is $1. I mean, and I love it because I get cards there and still stuff. So I'm in there, I'm in line, I'm trying to decide whether to get into because whatever line you get in is just always going to be the slowest one, don't matter. So, but I'm like constantly trying to do that. So I get in line and behind this kid, and he's got his little hoodie up, and he's all black, and he's got his hoodie up, and he doesn't seem like he's really in the day, but he's got change, and he's got something he's gonna buy, and he just drops the change in the in the salesperson's hand. And the salesperson looks at him and he drops it on the counter to count it. And he said, "You don't have enough money here. I've told you before how everything is $1 and you don't have enough money here." And I just thought, okay, I get that. I get that you're frustrated. I'm just saying to myself, I didn't say it out loud. I just said to myself, I thought, I get that the clerk is frustrated because he's trying to get people through. And this guy comes through with not enough money all the time. But I just said, hey, here, how much is it? Just go ahead, baby. Just take your stuff and go. And then I asked the clerk, how much is it? Because that's just the thing that I could do in that moment, was just to take care of it. I don't know what you got, but it's a dollar store. How much could it be? To
Mhm.
just do that. And
Mhm.
so just stepping, just whatever you're led to do, whatever it means, just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that. That's all. That's the being part. Just being present and aware and compassionate, I think. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we probably only have a minute to wrap up. So I think for me, the important points are to indulge in being, because that is our nature.
Yeah.
We are beings. And so be in beingness as
Yes.
often as you can, I would say.
Yes.
And to give yourself permission, allow yourself rest in spirit, allow yourself rest, period, for body, mind, spirit, and heart.
Yeah.
And don't wait like I did to get to overwhelm before you get the big signals. Maybe you should slow down, Tiger, slow down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that you're exactly right in that being in the present moment means that you are aware of the signals, the messages coming from spirit to tell you,
Mhm.
no, this is not where you should be heading, honey. Take a breath, step away, get a different perspective, whatever it is. So I think that we said it many times, but just being in the present moment allows you to be aware of what is yours, what is spirit trying to share with you, what's the universe saying, and go ahead and take and listen to that message, because it's going to keep on giving you the message until you finally hear. It's up to you as to whether the universe needs to whisper or shout or hit you upside the head. That's these are these are our choices. these are our choices, and you know,
The
that's it.
whisper's
That's all.
better.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
And
I'm
now
learning how to listen to the whisper.
yes.
I'm trying to learn how to listen to the whisper. I don't
Yeah,
want
me
to get
too.
hit upside the head. Just a whisper is good. Thank you.
I guess on that note, we need to be gone
I think we do. I
because
think
we're
we do. So
pushing up
thank
on
you
3 o'clock.
everybody for being here. Appreciate you so much and appreciate your
Thank you,
comments.
everyone. Thank you to
And look,
our
yeah.
absolutely wonderful producer, Zoe.
Yay,
We love you
Zozo.
dearly, and
Thank
we'll see
you.
you next week.